If you want to throw the hammer for your country, you have to stay inside the circle all the time.
Absolutism in Prussia and Austria. But first, some background information. In Europe, the Black Death killed a lot of people. This caused a financial issue for landlords all over the continent, and due to the landlords' tendency to exploit the peasants, a rise in serfdom occurred. Monarchs get grievously weaker while the nobility gets stronger. This only really happened in Eastern Europe, though.
Soon, due to the dickish nobility, there was a complete restriction on peasant movement, heavy labor obligations on the serfs, and hereditary subjugation began. Before 1600, the nobility was much stronger than the monarchs. However, the 17th century marked a rise in many strong kings. Both external and internal conflicts led to a tense atmosphere and allowed the monarchs to subtly reduce the political power of the nobility.
Once upon a time, absolutism was just beginning to dawn in Eastern European countries. In those days, the mark of a good absolutist king was to impose taxes without consent, to make a permanent standing army, and to interact with foreign countries.
In Eastern Europe, the Habsburgs tried their hand at absolutism. It fails. After the 30 Years' War, the Habsburgs rule over Austria, Bohemia, and Hungary. Charles VI makes the pragmatic sanction, which guarantees the Habsburgs will inherit a united land, even if they are a woman.
The Hungarian nobility was frustrated at the Habsburgs' attempt at absolutism, and were especially peeved due to the fact that the Catholic Habsburgs were trying to convert them. The nobility revolts, and Charles VI relaxes restrictions he had put on their privileges.
Over in Prussia, the Hohenzollern family inherit Prussia and Brandenburg under the Great Elector, Frederick William. Frederick William succeeds in uniting Prussia and Brandenburg. He trailblazes the way to absolutism in Prussia.
The Prussian nobility, aka the Junkers, were used to being the top dogs in Russia. All of this changed when the Great Elector pushed his way in. However, he pacifies them by imposing the majority of the taxes on the commoners. Because of this, the Junkers tolerated his reforms.
Frederick III was the Great Elector's successor. He didn't do much besides be a Louis XIV wannabe and getting himself a fancy castle. Later, he earns himself the title King Frederick I after aiding in the War of Spanish Succession. Much of the work towards absolutism done by Frederick William was undone during King Frederick's reign.
Next is King Frederick William I. He loved the military and had a special affinity towards tall blonde soldiers. He constantly wore military uniform and strengthened absolutism in Prussia. Considering how militaristic he was generally very peaceful because he didn't want to waste his pretty little blue boys.
At first, the Junkers protested his absolutist rule, and instead of killing them or imprisoning them, Frederick William simply made them a class of officers in his army.